Hello, and welcome back to the Film Custodian Show. I am the Film Custodian, and I'm back in the garage, as you can see. And today we're talking about the next Jason Statham movie, the MEG 2, The Trench. If you go see this movie, definitely check your brain at the door and go with friends, because it is terrible. It is a terrible movie, but I mean, it's a lot of fun, so you gotta go with your friends. This movie stars Jason Statham and Wu Yang. Jason Statham, of course, known for the Transporter series, Guy Ritchie movies, the Expendable series, the Crank films, that time he fought Jet Li in war. Jet Li, Jason Statham are at war. It was a pretty decent movie. And a whole slew of other martial arts films. Wu, known for the Wolf Warrior movies, the sequel making the most money ever at the Chinese domestic box office, last time I checked. The film is everything I thought I would get. I wasn't expecting much, but I was still disappointed and satisfied all at the same time. This movie is awful. I had a good time with my friends though, laughing at its stupid dialogue and stupid characters. I could talk about all the missed opportunities this film had though. I mean, it could have been more serious, like more of a horror movie, but I mean, Jason Statham doesn't do horror movies. Jason Statham does action movies. So yeah, I mean, this movie could have been straight action, but it's not that either. And in fact, there were a couple of hand-to-hand combat scenes with Jason Statham and a bunch of goons early on in the film that were very reminiscent of like the Transporter films. They kind of, like, there's this one fight scene in Transporter, I think it's Transporter 2, and actually they repeated this in War, where it's like you got two guys with axes and he's going like, it's hitting over his head and he's kind of going, blocking it like that and ducking. And it was kind of reminiscent of that, so that was kind of interesting and fun. The story revolves around Jason Statham and crew. They have a research lab base set up, and Wu has a pet megalodon for some reason, because who wouldn't want to have a pet megalodon, right? Again, this movie's really dumb, but it's fun. Which, you guessed it, it escapes. Who would have thunk? There is a direct tie-in from the first MEG movie, the daughter. She was a younger girl in the first film. Jason Statham and Wu are kind of, well, Wu is her uncle, so they both kind of take care of her. And she's definitely not going to sneak onto the submarines when they go 25,000 feet down into the trench with all the megalodons and krakens and everything else. Definitely not going to sneak in there and, be a stowaway or anything. Oh yeah, okay, so then there's this one part down there which is just like it just shows the absolute stupidity of the writing. Like when it's like you have a bunch of characters explaining the plot. So they're down in the trench, or they're making their way down to the trench in the two small submarines, and then they kind of cut away, and it's like you see this facility down there. You're like, oh, there's this facility down there. That's kind of interesting, Who made this secret facility down in the trench? And then you kind of flip over to this other guy in a submarine. He's talking to these other two guys down on the ground, and they're like putting charges. They're placing charges along the trench. And then the one guy has literally mentioned something like to the other guy. There's two guys down there, and they're in these exoskeleton suits, which are kind of explained early on about Wu actually have kind of invented them. It's his tech, we need these exoskeletons in order to travel down deep into the trench. These special exoskeletons. And they're kind of neat, they're kind of fun. But anyway, so they're both down there. Because they stole these suits, you find out later when they're trapped down in the facility thing. And he kind of looks over at the other guy and he's just like, hey, this stuff that we mine down here, it's really rare. You can't get it anywhere else, It's like, yeah, these are super rare metals. You can't find anywhere else except down here in the trench. And then later on, Wu's character, I can't remember his actual character's name. It doesn't matter, but he's just like, they're kind of looking through the minerals later on. He kind of picks it up and he's just, oh, wow, yeah. This has got to be worth at least $1 billion. Excellent writing. It's exquisite. This movie is terrible. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, and so then they blow it up. They blow up the trench, which sends Jason Statham and Wu's, both their submarines, off in separate directions, crashing on the ground. The trench is blowing up everywhere, and then actually cuts a hole in the force field thing that's sort of keeping all the ancient, megalodons and creatures down and trapped in the trench. All the ancient aquatic life trapped down in the trench. But now there's a hole in it, so obviously, all the monsters can escape and go eat people, and we can have a movie and stuff. Oh yeah, also, so there's a lot of really hot scientist chicks in this movie. Some of them end up being villains, some of them end up dying, and they're all terrible actresses. And especially when they're both, there's two of them driving the two little submarines down into the trench, and it's like, they don't know even how to sell, they can't sell it. Like, it's just, you know, whoa, it's like huge, like weird plate steering wheel things, and they're just not selling it. This movie's terrible. A Kraken and a Megalodon have a fight, so bonus points. So the film kind of has it does have a pretty steady pace through the first like 2/3 of the movie. Like the first and second act are pretty steady, just in terms of like how insufferable it is, but also it's just a lot of fun laughing at it and laughing at the ridiculousness of it and whatnot. But then you finally get to the third act, which is everything that was promised, right? The Kraken attacking, all the Megalodons attacking, all that stuff that you saw with Jason Statham in the trailer, fighting, you know, with the harpoons, that he makes these harpoons up and he's fighting the Megalodon and all that. All that was great. It didn't disappoint, but I mean, it's pretty much at the end of the movie, so you gotta kind of like suffer through all of that ridiculousness to get to here. And really, it's the third act. They're just like, screw it, let's just do all the stuff that we really want to do, which is, you know, Jason Statham going, one-on-one with a Megalodon, you know, and we're gonna, you know, we've got these pikes and we're gonna pike them, you know. Again, that's the only reason you go to see this movie. You go to see this movie to see Jason Statham fight sharks. That's it. There's no other reason to go see this movie, and it doesn't really disappoint. Again, like I was saying earlier, I kind of got everything that I wanted, but I was also still a little bit disappointed by just how crap this movie is. But then I was also like, yeah, but what did you expect, right? I mean, and Jason Statham can be a good actor too. I don't want to take that away from him. I mean, he's pretty good in like the movie Redemption. He always just plays his part he needs to play, right? You know, he's the action guy, always does the action wonderfully. He's, you know, it's like just a beautiful dance moves, wonderfully choreographed anytime he does action. And yeah, he got to punch some people in this, and he killed some sharks in some pretty fun ways. I mean, it was just hilarious. This movie's hot garbage. So yeah, I'll just add this to my ever-growing list of terrible films of 2023, because there's been a lot of them. So yeah, I give this movie a 4 out of 10. It's a 4 out of 10, just because you do get that Megalodon Kraken action with some Jason Statham throwing spears and stuff. It's like one of those movies where if you're gonna have a party and you kind of throw it on in the background and you laugh at it and you yell at the characters like, why'd you do that? Oh, he's gonna get killed. Oh, yay, killed the shark, you know. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I mean, it's garbage, but you can have fun watching it. So yeah. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Please share the video with your friends and family. It really helps us to defeat the evil algorithms. And check out my other videos as well. You know, I got my playlists. I got my rants. I got my reviews. I reviewed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, The Rings of Power way back when. I hate that show. But yeah, go check that stuff out if you enjoyed this video. All right, well, see you later.